So you guys might notice something different behind me. I have a Cubanite silver E55 that I just picked up. This was a impulse buy. I was coming back from a trip with my brother, and it was on my way back in Columbus area. And the seller was nice enough to even drive this car back all the way to my house, about 2.5 hours, and it made it all the way here, but it has its fair share of issues. So I'm gonna get right into it, go over what's wrong with this E55, how much I got it for, and the whole story behind it. So like I said, this is a Cubanite silver E55 with around 200,000 miles, and it has its fair share of issues. So this one has some sort of cylinder scoring, I'm guessing a broken ringland or even a bent valve. I'm not sure yet, I haven't dug into it, but this has to be the cheapest E55 in the country right now in the USA. I got it for $2,000, and it is running and driving. It has a shift flare on the 2 to 3 shift, but other than that, the shifting is fine. It smokes a lot from that cylinder issue, but it is running and driving. It has mods and stuff. So we're gonna get right into it. This seller, previous seller, put on new tires and new wheels. Looks like they were curbed a little bit. Not sure what happened there, but overall this car is really clean for $2,000. It is rust free. It has an exhaust on it, so it has long tube headers, X-pipe through the stock resonators, and it has no mufflers. And this car is spec'd really well, so it has the parking sensors, I think front and rear. It has the solar roof, which is really cool. If you guys don't know about the solar panoramic roof, this system charges itself in hot climates, and then it turns on, I think, the AC or at least the blowers to keep the car cool. So this thing was highly spec'd out. It also has Distronic on it, massaging seats, cooling seats, pretty much every package you can get. So I assume this MSRP on this car was just shy of $100,000 back in 2003. So obviously with 200,000 miles in this car being over 20 years old, it's going to have its fair share of cosmetic and mechanical issues. Here we have some damage on the bumper, some sun damage it looks like on the hood, some sun damage on the black gloss part. We have some damage on seals, some fading on the trunk as well, and the car is just slightly dirty, but other than that, it's in pretty good shape, except for this fender where the air collapsed when driving and the tire kind of caught it, cracked it. So, but other than that, the body is pretty straight. Overall, no rust. Now we can get into the inside. It's gonna beep for a second before I put the key in. And here's what we're working with. It's pretty clean on the inside. The fuses are for the seat because it has a power draw. So we pull those when it's not running, just so the battery doesn't die, because it kept killing batteries, I guess. So I have the panel and stuff for that. Overall, the wood's pretty clean. The steering wheel is clean. Speedo's good. It has the 160 mile an hour gauge cluster because it is an 03. It's not the facelift option, 2006 or 2005, whenever they facelifted that. Seats are in okay shape. They're missing the emblem on both. There's some rips on that one. Overall, 200,000 miles, you can't expect much more. And the wood grain is in good condition, except one of the doors is cracked. Looks like all the buttons are here for the seat. And like I said, yeah, this thing's optioned out. There's really no blank buttons here. This is a aftermarket radio, so I haven't dug into this yet. I noticed a couple speakers were blown. AFR gauge that doesn't work. I have a spare one I might plug in and see if it works. Headliner's in decent condition. No sagging or anything. Panoramic roof, pretty cool. This is mismatched. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what happened there. Probably cracked or something. And we also have some free parts. So let's get into those. So this thing came with a bunch of free parts. So we have brand new air filters from Mercedes, it looks like, and then a bunch of arms, suspension pieces, part of a belt wrap kit over there, and then another belt, and I'm not even sure what else. I haven't dug into everything here, but looks like a couple boxes of parts, which is pretty nice. And these seats are kind of in the same condition. They're not the best. Could be swapped out for a newer set, at least the bottom portion here, and those are relatively cheap, so not worried about that. No rust, very clean. I don't know where this car came from, but if it was in Ohio, it was not driven in the winter. I can tell you that. Mirror, it looks like had some sort of electrical issue, burnt it out. So the tips on the car are not AMG specific, but they are a very similar design. We have a carbon wing. It's definitely not Souvenir, but it is close. Looks like an eBay style wing. And power trunk. LED lights are on here. I'm not sure if they're gonna work right now. Probably not, but those are a nice upgrade. Power trunk does not work on here. He said that there got water in here and it just doesn't work correctly anymore, but it works from the front, I guess. And trunk, it looks OEM. There was actually what's cool is that I didn't know that you could do this. My car didn't have this, so I didn't know this it like stays up. It's really nice. There was an ice tank back here. I can see the rivets for where the tank was. Looks like we have a newer style battery. That's nice. And yeah, those were where the two lines went for the trunk tank. But I'll show you guys what's up in the hood, because it looks like somebody did a switch on the build. And what you've all been waiting for, what's under the hood. So this thing is equipped with a 72mm pulley. This could be from either VRP or FabTech, I believe. They both have that purple style. The valve covers and surge tanks I think are supposed to match, so they are powder coated and they look pretty good. They have a kind of a shimmer. I don't know if I can get it without any sunlight, but they look pretty clean. Looks like somebody did a good job on both and then sealed them correctly. There isn't really any leaks, but like I said, this thing has low compression on one of the cylinders. It's possibly 4. I had one misfire code for that, but it's not misfiring anymore. That was because the Y pipe popped off the throttle body. But yeah, it doesn't have a cell on anymore. It's not misfiring, so it could be either cylinder 5, 8, even 4. Who knows? I'm gonna borescope this thing eventually, kind of see what's going on, see if it is a broken ringland or if it is a scored cylinder wall. And so for mods, we also have a billet idler pulley set and a belt wrap kit also from UPD. So that's why I assume everything is from UPD, is because the billet idler pulleys, or the whole pulley set, and the belt wrap kit is also from UPD, because I have that same set that I'm also not using on my car, but I have the same set. And we have a looped fuel rail, I assume is also from UPD, because, or FabTech possibly, because VRP usually sells these with the blue non-braided line. It's just like that blue rubber. It's kind of ugly, but yeah, we have 600cc injectors. I'm not sure if they're 630, 600 or what. I was told they're Hellcat injectors. And we have, I'm not sure if there's anything done with the pumps or not. And we have carbon intakes. So these are from either Carboneo or FabTech. I don't know if they would be from FabTech, because nobody ever gets their parts from them. If they order them, it must have been years ago, if so. But these things are pretty clean, no cracks or anything. I already pulled them out and looked. But they also could be Carboneo. I had a Carboneo set on my CLS. It was a full nice set with the front cover and everything. And then we have a ice tank. This thing is also non-branded. It could possibly be VRP's, just because of the shape of it and the location, but the cap doesn't look the same. So I am not sure what brand it is, but it could be VRP, because there is a VRP secondary, or like the large primary XL heat exchanger. So the cooling is split on this, which is nice. So it stays cool. So this thing also has a ECU tune from Vano, so VTEC, and a TCU tune by TJ Mary. So I'm not sure how this thing is tuned. I'm not sure if it's just a TCU like agility mode, or if there's stuff done to the trans, stuff done to the diff. I don't assume it has an LSD. It does not have LSD actually, because I spun the tires and they spin different directions. So I'm not sure if there's a different gear ratio in there or not. I have not pulled that, but that is about all the mods done that I know on this car. So previous owners did message me about this car, not the one that I bought it from, the seller that had it before them. So he knew like more of the mods, the history and stuff behind the car. And it's looking like that I'm gonna keep this car. And I do have a spare block for it that I could swap in, and I could sleeve this one. For the meantime, I might drive it. I might park it. I don't know, but I really don't want to part this car. It's kind of still on the nicer side, and I park cars that don't like to run well, don't like to run at all. So yeah, I don't know the future for this car right now, but it looks like it has sort of a bright future, I might end up keeping it, and I might restore it a little bit, but kind of keep it that clapper vibe, and just run it into the ground until something happens and I have to fix it. So in the meantime, while I'm building the CLS, maybe this will become that car that I can go to meets with and just hang out and stuff. Now this is going to be about a 36-hour startup, so we're going to see the smoke here. All right. There's like none yet. There's not too much smoke. Still smells like oily. Here comes a little bit. It's definitely idling a little rough because those plugs are so bad. No cell. I mean, it literally doesn't idle bad. Smoking a little bit more, popping a little bit too. For reference, here's the spark plug that came out of cylinder 8, all caked up in oil. It should not look like this. And reference cylinder 5 also. This thing is rich. It's running rich. So those are the two cylinders, the bad cylinders that I suspect are bad. And I could pull the other ones off, but this thing is going to be swapped over eventually to a M113 5.0 motor that I have found from my buddy. It also has a manual transmission attached to it, and I will most likely be leaving that. So hopefully I'll be able to manual swap this thing, and it won't be too difficult. But I'm gonna top swap the blower onto that motor, keep the compression ratio the same, keep the rods, pistons, heads on that motor. The heads do flow better on that motor as well. But yeah, it'll have the NA cams and everything like that unless I swap the compressor cams over. So we'll see what I do with it. I'm not gonna push crazy power on this car when it's done. I just wanna have a fun kind of alternate daily from the wagon and from the CLS while that thing is still getting built. So should be a cool project, and yeah. Right now we're borescoping cylinder 5 and cylinder 8. I am in cylinder 8 currently. There's definitely some scoring, not as bad as I would have thought, but most likely enough to make this thing smoke and not run at full power. So let's get this thing, change the camera here. You can definitely see some scoring here. And this is cylinder 8, one of the cylinders that typically go bad, along with cylinder 5. We're going to change over right here. Have those two spark plugs pulled out. And this one I did not see that much damage. If this thing would focus. You can see a little bit there to the right. Let's see if we can invert this. And this piston is pretty much all the way up, so I can't see much, but definitely not the best, but not the worst. So I just turned the motor over. Here's cylinder 5 again. A better look. You can definitely see some heavier scoring here, but I just can't believe that this thing, that is the main cause of all the smoke and low compression on this motor. Just that scoring on cylinder 5 or cylinder 8. Maybe there's more that I'm missing here. I could dive more in and look at more cylinders, kind of see what's going on, but it smokes heavy on startup, smokes always when it's running, when it's going, smokes a lot on decel. So, and I was told it had low compression on one of the cylinders, so I'm not sure which one, but I mean, this looks decently bad, but it's not like horrific. I've seen worse, and I've seen worse running better than this, smoking wise. So, all right, so we're inside cylinder 6 now, and I'm seeing this little indent on the piston. Possibly could be a valve that hit the piston, which would be best case scenario. We possibly have a bent valve and not an entirely hurt motor, and that could be why the compression is low and also why this thing is smoking so bad. Also, there's a lot of carbon and oil buildup on this piston as compared to the other ones where it did not have this issue. I'm going to dig deeper into this, do a compression test, and this is not cylinder 7, which was previously stated the bad one. So I'm not sure if they just mixed up 6 and 7 or if 6 was actually the issue here. But we're hoping it's a valve possibly being bent. Do a compression and leak down test here this weekend, and we'll go from there. And these were the testers I said. Like I said, I did not tape anything landscape. I only took it some for TikTok and Facebook and stuff, but here's the leak down tester that I used. This is from Harbor Freight, it's a Maddox. And then this one is a Pittsburgh compression tester, and they all were testing like in the same range, like 165, 180. Depends how many times I cranked it, but I mean, these are brand new tools. I mean, I guess I could firm with another set of compression testers or something, but I don't know. I'm kind of stumped with this car right now. I'm kind of chasing my tail to see if there's something wrong with it, but maybe there's not. Maybe it was just a misdiagnosis and I got really lucky. It is very possible that the shop just wanted to quote a motor job or head job or something and kind of scam this guy. So I'm not sure, but it's kind of suspect.
One more, all right.
I threw the drag pack from the CLS on, or at least the rears, because both of these tires are 26 inches tall, so it doesn't mess with anything ABS or ESP wise. And these things look absolutely sick on here. Even with the air, I mean, it's level fine. It levels itself. Sometimes when you put people in the car, it goes up and then it sits back down. But these things look killer. They hook well, and they're only 255s. They're Mickey Street SS's. And then these are the CLK 16-inch rears. And I don't even think they're widened either. I think they're still like 8 inches stock or something very small. But yeah, you can fit up to a 255 Mickey or Hoosier on them, and they hook pretty well on the street, honestly. And then matched with the front wheels, this fender's a little baconed due to the air suspension failing when somebody was driving it. But these match pretty well, and putting these on also helped the vibration. So those wheels were definitely bent worse in the back than they are in the front, but there was a nasty vibration. So the CLKs helped that. I mean, as you can see, there's definitely some soot built up, and this is just after a couple days of messing with it driving. After further diagnosing the car, I did a compression test on all 8 cylinders. I did a leak down test on 5 through 8 because those are the suspected bad cylinders. Typically there was some scoring, but nothing like too major. I was told that the conductor plate and the trans oil was already flushed and everything, so new stuff of that is in there, and it hasn't helped anything. So it seems there's a bigger issue with the trans, most likely torque converter or the friction plates, since it wouldn't be either the plug, hopefully not wicking of the oil, the TCU possibly still. So I'm going to test that probably this week, and I might still need a new trans. But as of right now, I'll just drive it until this trans gets worse, and then I'll swap something better into it, or just another OEM one. And so now my next step for the trans, at least, I'm going to throw in the original TCU, see if that helps this trans flare 2nd to third shift. I noticed under wide open throttle, sometimes it throws it into gear like fine, but under cruising conditions, it does not shift well. I have to like let off the gas to let it shift. I assume it's a torque converter issue. I guess maybe a trans tune was thrown on a already bad trans. I don't know the case, but it's a more new symptom that this car was having, I guess, with the previous owner. But compression and leak down tests on that cylinder checked out, so I have no answers for this. Compression was between like 165, 180 on all of them. On a new compression tester, it was a new leak down tester. I was putting in 100 psi in the cylinder. It was leaking down like 3%, so I had like 97 psi in each cylinder, 95 to 97 psi. They were all at top dead center. I cranked them all over. All the valves were closed and everything. If the valves were open, there would have been a leak. So, I mean, I've tried and tried to find something wrong with this car. It's definitely, it needs a tune revision because wide open throttle is good. It's 11 to 12-ish, but at idle, it's like 15, 16, 14. It kind of like bounces back and forth. So it definitely needs a tune revision. And obviously it's running rich, or at least the valve stem seals are really bad because I get a bunch of black soot on the back of the car after driving it like short distances or even beating on it and stuff. Obviously it smokes under wide open throttle and then like lightly just cruising around town and stuff. So I'm assuming it is valve stem seals is the main issue here for the smoke. And the plugs are getting oily too, so that is another possibility that it's valve stem seals. Just one of the issues that how oil is getting by. But I'm not sure leak down wise that there's any issues. So it's the next day and I'm just sitting here scratching my head thinking, why did these tests go so well for me? The compression test and the leak down test compared to the shop, which I even talked to, and I'm not going to name drop them, but they stated that cylinder 7 was at 65 psi when they tested it multiple times. So I'm not sure where they were getting that, but my numbers weren't even close to that. Whether or not the car was cold or hot, it shouldn't have 100 psi difference in the test that I had. So when doing the compression test, the fuel pumps were unplugged, the coil packs were unplugged or taken off, the spark plugs were out of the ones that I was not testing. And I even asked him what cylinder numbering he did, whether if not it was the zigzag pattern or if it was the rows. So it was the rows, which I confirmed with him, and how I had it numbered was 5 through 8 and then 1 through 4. So I did the leak down on 5 through 8 because those were the ones that I assumed were bad, and I also did the compression on all 8, but leak down passed all 5 through 8, and compression also passed on 5 through 8. So I'm just not sure where those numbers are coming from. Here in this next video, I'm going to do valve stem seals. I'm going to keep the heads on the car, push air into the cylinders, and then going to put the new stem seals in, take the spring out, take the keepers out and everything, leave the cam in, sprocket and everything, leave it in time. So that'll be here in the next video most likely. Then hopefully also in the next video I'll be able to have some draggy kind of graphs or some times to share with you guys. Obviously it won't be like a quarter mile or a 0 to 60 because the transmission is hurt, possibly like a 60 to 130 or something. Obviously this car should be faster than one of the old CLS builds just because it has that 72mm pulley and all the supporting mods. But I kind of want a baseline to see where this thing's at because we will get to modding it even further in the future. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.